I'm joined now by my guest, who is an agribusiness professional. He is also, professional in the area of rice farming, and the person of Dr. Ayodeji Ajisefinni. Thank you, Doctor, for coming on the program today.
Good morning. Thank you.
Okay, Doctor, like I stated earlier, we have seen, the suspension of duties and tariffs as well as taxes on the importation of certain commodities. But today we are specifically, going to be looking at how much impact this will have in the area of rice production locally. But there has been a lot of conversations as to how, this will impact, local farming, the short-term and long-term solutions regarding this as well. But let us hear from you. How do you foresee this policy affecting local rice farmers in the short term and in the long term?
Thank you very much. In the short term, this importation of rice will make the cost of an Nigerian rice to go higher than beyond. And it will discourage the patronage of Nigerian rice. Because the mentality of our people, the ideology of our people is everything that is foreign, they believe is the best. And that will make the local producers to run at loss presently. Coupled with unavailability of paddy rice, that's another issue. Bringing in rice from the abroad, I don't think is the best solution for us in Nigeria. Rather than to find a way of encouraging and supporting the rice farmers to increase their productivity. And this can be done through so many means. At the long run, why not allow each state to have their own, especially those states that have the potential of high yield rice, to do more and get government support in the implementation of normal agribusiness practice, providing them with all the inputs, high-yield inputs. Within the next 4 months, Nigeria will be a base where we will be exporting rice if government supports the rice revolution project, not by giving a window of importing rice. Importing rice means you are killing the factories that are already processing. So many small rice millers are closed down, and by so doing with this, the bigger ones will automatically create unemployment. Because when their product is no longer in market, and the market is saturated with imported rice, what do you think will happen? And this will bring in what we call adulterated products into our economy. Like what next we see next? People will start repackaging rice in foreign banks because they need to sell their products.
You have
yes, madam.
You have raised a concern, especially in the area of local producers having to compete with this imported product. But what would you say, or how rather would you say that local farmers can remain competitive under these circumstances? I mean, like you pointed out, it's quite unfortunate, yes, but most Nigerians would prefer foreign products to local production, and that we have seen efforts by the government trying to change that. But how can these local producers, remain competitive despite the 150-day free import duty and tax window that has been put out for local importers?
The local farmers can remain competitive, and by the grace of God, we support the local producers with what we expect, which I will mention. Our price will be cheaper than those that want to bring from abroad. For example, if we are able to get a subsidized land preparation facility, if government is ready to support the rice farmers by preparing land with staggered repayment plan, provision of mini irrigation for farmers that are not close to riverine areas, subsidized high-yield paddy rice. We have some paddy rice, thank God for our grain research institutes. They have discovered some grains that can give 6-7 tons per hectare. And if peradventure a farmer planted 10 acres, and all things being equal, he is able to have minimum of 6 tons per hectare. What I'm telling you in essence is if the production will drastically come down and we end up buying the bag of rice at between 30 and 40,000 naira here in Nigeria, good quality. What we need is more support. And the support is compulsory to be in monetary value. Let it be on the subsidized input. A farmer cannot meet up by using 75,000 naira to operate one operation on the farm. A farmer cannot succeed and make profit by buying a bag of fertilizer at 45,000-50,000 naira. And capacity building needs to be there. We need more of transplanting equipment. Gone are the days we'll be doing planting of seed by seed or broadcasting. Broadcasting of seed does not help us to achieve our target expectations. What we expect the ministry to do, as I used to say, adaptation of autonomy to local government has an impact on food security. And the impact is by then focusing on most especially those states that are so concerned in rice production, most especially in the northern zone of Nigeria. Let's see how we can get the support, subsidized support, not free. We don't need free gifts because this government wants to give free gifts to farmers. They can't give us 5 lakh per farm. They can't give us 25 or 50 kg of paddy seed per farm. But if the price is subsidized and we are able to have access to things due to loan from a finance institution, basically for this project, under good and organized terms of reference, I believe Nigeria will sing another song, especially we may not even look at the side of imported air.
Well said, Doctor. Especially, calling on the government for the adequate supports that local farmers need. But I would like for us to touch on the area of price stability. The Ministry of Agriculture had come out to say that this is expected to, help stabilize or reduce the price of rice for consumers. As I speak, I believe a bag of rice currently goes for about 75,000 to 78,000. Do you agree with this school of thought in the area of expecting that there will be, price stability at the end of this 150 window, 50 days window?
It will be difficult. It will be difficult to get a price stability for rice. Why? My economic of production is not maintained. There is no generally acceptable economic of production. If Federal Ministry of Agri wants to give price stability, first thing they need to do is economic of production to be stable, to be common, irrespective of the state you are. What do I mean cost of production? There should be a standard cost of producing 1 hectare of rice. And there should be a standard of minimum expectation per hectare. And there should be a uniform profit margin from the farmer on their production. If you are able to get it, for instance, you are using 600,000 to cultivate 1 hectare of rice, and you have 30% markup, that means that every farmer that is cultivating 1 hectare of rice farm will be selling his output at 780,000 per hectare, per ton. Because already 600,000 cost is already achieved, and it's making a 780,000. And that will enable the farmer to package correct paddy, unadulterated paddy. Yes, there's no how you can package raw materials without unwanted elements. The unwanted elements in every bag should not be more than 2-3%. But a situation where it's getting 15%, you are sending that loss to the rice miller who will be buying the paddy from the farmers. Because it's a shame. The shame starts from the plantation to the sales of the paddy to the millers, and the millers producing the rice to the end users. Here in Nigeria, it's difficult to have 75% output from every paddy of rice process. Very difficult. And that's why all the costs of operations are based on the paddy they procure from the farm. Therefore, if there is any price stability, you should start from the implementation of economic of production, the uniforms. When the economic of production is uniform, and when we are talking about economic of production, it's from the cost of seed, cost of herbicides, cost of fertilizers, cost of labor, and cost of capital. If we are able to get the standard one from the Federal Ministry of Agri, which is implementable by all farmers, I believe price stability will work. But in a situation where in a state, cost of input is ×2 in another state, you can't force them to sell at a loss. But we come to Ranto with all the stakeholders involved in the value chain of production to agree on this is the way forward. That is when the issue of cost stability can work. Thank you.
Well said, Doctor. But talking about, the stakeholders coming together to ensure that, price stability is achieved at the end of the day, what kind of, collaborative measures would you recommend? Could it be a roundtable discussion or policy implementation and policy direction? What exactly are you recommending, that, or what sort of meeting are you recommending from these stakeholders?
Thank you. For the rice value chain, there is an organization for the farmers who know what their farmers need. Are facing the financial institutions, the input suppliers, the mechanization support services. These are the affected stakeholders that should sit down together with the government to do policy formation. And when they sit down and they agree on the policy, it will be easier to determine. But not a situation whereby something that does not know where the street is forming a policy. Such a policy cannot be enforced on the farmer. But when the farmers are involved, the millers are involved, such a policy, I know, will be acceptable to the operators in that field. Therefore, let's start from the grassroots of the association. Yes, the government cannot meet individual farmers. The farmers are umbrella body, especially for rice. There is an association that is coordinating the activities of rice farmers in Nigeria. There is an association that is coordinating the activities of rice millers. Let all of them come together with the government representatives to discuss the challenges and recommend the way forward. I so doing, I know Nigeria is better. And the rice will be a stable food on everybody's table as low as 25 to 30,000 naira per bag, which is great. If a farmer is achieving 5 tons per hectare, each will be happy. But in the present situation, it's rare to see a farmer achieving 2.5 tons per hectare, which means they are not making it in their business.
Okay, Doctor, I will like for us to look, on the brighter side. We have highlighted the downsides to the tax exemption policy and duty exemption policy by the government. But I believe that there should be, some sort of bright side to this entire thing, especially in the area of opportunities for local farmers, such as, partnerships, such as new markets for local farmers. Do you envisage that there is a possibility that this could impact local farmers in a positive way in the area of, engaging in partnerships in importation and also newer market for these local farmers?
The only way government can partner or we as the farmers can partner with government is the area of us getting subsidy for the inputs. Encourage and support us in technology transmission to farmers. By the time the output from the farm is more than what we can consume, instead people in Nigeria can earn income from the production of rice by exporting it. And that was why I said the country we want to be importing rice from, what are they doing that makes their own rice to be native? Better than ours. And most of these countries, we have better land space, fertile land. We have it than them. Let government come up with what are they doing there? If they can transfer the knowledge and technology to really local farmers to boost our production.
You have emphasized.
I think that's the only way for now that can support the local farmers, not to keep their businesses.
Well, you have emphasized the need for support beyond just financial or access to credit, but also in the area of technology. But let us look at the Nigerian agricultural space currently. How much would you say, can you give us an update rather on the current annual rice production and consumption rate for Nigeria as of 2024?
Yeah, the consumption rate and the production rate is far. There is a great gap between it. The consumption rate is over 100%, while the production rate is below 50%. I mean, the consumption rate is over 100%, while the production rate is below 50%. The number of farmers on feed are reduced. That's number one, due to so many factors. Two, lack of mechanized equipment to support the production affects the farmers. Three, funding is another thing that is affecting the production. Where a situation where the supply is lesser than demand, you know what it means. And I think that's what necessitated importation of brown rice to Nigeria. And unfortunately, if it is brown rice, Nigeria don't use brown rice, we eat white rice. We Nigerians are exporting our own brown rice to America, and they appreciate it.
Okay, you have emphasized.
They are important.
You have emphasized the need for, support in the area of mechanization. But would you say that Nigeria, is currently, growing in the area of mechanization and farming through technology? And comparing Nigeria now with other countries within the African, sub-Saharan African space, what farming methods or approaches would you recommend that Nigeria could, replicate from countries that have implemented these measures? And what can we take from these other countries that have implemented measures that have worked for them in their favor?
Well, thank you very much. I think this new administration is the right path. I remember when the new administration was sworn in, they said 500,000 hectares of land will be placed in some states of Nigeria. And if that can be done, and they allocate more than 50% into something like rice cultivation and provide irrigation services. Because if I can remember the agenda of food security public, what we expected is what was on that agenda. If that agenda can be implemented with private sector-driven mindset, I think the productivity of food in Nigeria will be more better, far better. It will be better, and Nigeria being a country with Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, Doctor. Go on with your thought.
Thank you. Nigeria with a prospect of fertile land. We have tendency of producing more rice for processing, for both consumption and exportation. We need more agencies that will focus attention on farm mechanization to the grassroots. Not only formulation of policy, implementation of that policy is what we need to do. Let's see how all the good policies the federal government have for food security in Nigeria can be implemented in line with the policies. Food production half-time free, half-time land. If a day wasted has impact on food insecurity. When we are to plant there is no seed. If there is seed, there is no diesel to power the tractor that will work on it. If there is diesel, there is no fertilizer. If there is fertilizer, there is no rain. And we should stop the attitude of all of us to farm during rainy season. Those countries that we are talking about in sub-Saharan Africa, they do all year-round farming. But here in Nigeria, source of our food insecurity is because of adaptability to single-season farming. And I won't blame the farmers for this. I will apply, appeal to the federal government to do more of mini irrigation system. We are not asking them to give it farmers free. If on this basis of local government by local government, it's a mandate now from us. We want a mandate, a policy that we insist that each local government must have minimum of 30,000 hectares of land for agricultural purpose, for food security. That should be a mandate for the autonomy. And there should be a private-driven set-up agency with the government to make sure the food security is carried out and in line with the policies of the government. So that will minimize bureaucracy involved in the implementation, because bureaucracy can hinder progress and has been the impact of this on Nigerians. Too much of bureaucracy affects the food production. What needs to be done as a friend view is not done. It will now come when it is not necessary. By now, we expect all farmers to be on farm. If not planting, they should be doing the second application, fertilizer. Or first application, the fertilizer. Everything has a date. Each date on the calendar has an implementation plan on food security. Therefore, bureaucracy is out of it. Bottleneck for bureaucracy in food production should be minimized, if possible, eliminated. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ayodeji Ajisefinni, who is speaking to the recent tax exemption policy by the President Tinubu administration, where there has been the suspension of duties, tariffs, and taxes on the importation of major food items, including husked brown rice. And we have, discussed how these will impact on local production of rice here in Nigeria. Thank you, Dr. Ayodeji, for your insight on the program today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Well, this is where we draw the curtains on Business Daily today. Very insightful conversation right there, talking about the government also empowering local farmers beyond the tax exemption policy. After the 150-day window, what else follows after? Are farmers going to be empowered enough to ensure that subsequently we have our farmers producing enough for Nigerians to consume? So this is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of the program. But join the conversation on social media. Let us hear from you. What are your thoughts on this policy by the government? My name is Chiamaka Nendu. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.